Hello friends, it's Tamara Bennett with Southern Adornments Decor, and I am on here tonight to talk to you about a very difficult and tricky topic. This is something kind of difficult for me to talk about because the personality type that I am, I do not like to deal with conflict. I don't want to deal with anything that might cause negative emotions or struggles or difficulties, and so I tend to avoid talking about things like this because if I know there are conflicting opinions, I don't want to drag those out. I don't want to start arguing with people. And so to avoid the argument, a lot of times I just shove this stuff to the side and I don't talk about it. But hi, Sarah. Hey, Robin. I'm so glad you guys are jumping on here with me tonight. But I do feel like that this is something that so many creative people struggle with, not just door hanger makers, but creative people in general who create something to sell to others. And they, when you create something of your own, you are vulnerable because you feel like you put part of your heart and your creativity into that. Hi, Roxana and Claudia. And so it feels a little bit vulnerable to put something like that out into the world. And so you never want to put something out into the world like that and then receive negative feedback, right? Well, I have received messages in the past from followers and friends of mine. Hi, Tony. Hi, Christy and Andrea. And those friends have messaged me with things saying like, I think I'm going to give up door hanger making. And that breaks my heart, really. It does. When they've said something like that, it's usually been because somebody has contacted them and said, you copied my door hanger, or you copied my design and take it down. And, they say stuff like that and they make you feel upset, because you were proud of that. You were excited to share it with everybody. So you put it out into the world. And then you receive negative feedback like that. Not everybody will attack you and will, say ugly things. Some people just politely say, I noticed that you copied my design and I would like for you to take it down. And, then, if you did take it down and then you don't ever hear anything from them again. So a lot of times it's just something simple like that. But this is the main reason why I wanted to come on here and talk about it tonight. It's something that many people struggle with, and it can cause you to walk away from crafting because of fear of discouragement and embarrassment, fear that it's going to happen again because it evoked all of these negative feelings inside of you. And it makes me so sad that people think about quitting when they get a response like, you copied me, take it down. So I don't want to get into talking about copyright and all of that tonight because, as you know, copyright laws are confusing. Unless you're a lawyer, they're very difficult to understand exactly what they mean because they're worded with big, fancy words. So I don't want to get into talking about copyright and all of that. I'm not here to give legal advice. And if you guys know somebody who maybe is in a creative business or just might be dealing with issues like this, please share it. Share the video so that, they might find some encouragement in this. Because I do want to put up front, I do not want this video to be about negativity. If I see any negative comments popping up, my assistant Hannah's watching. She's going to be deleting them and banning people from the page if they start bashing and putting a bunch of negative comments in the comments. I'm not here to start a war or controversy or anything that might just stir up drama, because I don't want to do that. I'm not about that. I just wanted to come on here and encourage other creatives who might have experienced this in the past. And if you haven't experienced it yet, it's coming. Probably it's just almost a matter of time before you experience this because it's very difficult to avoid. Okay, so this video is in no way meant to stir up conflict. I've got notes because I knew tonight I was going to be a little bit nervous talking about this. So I put down a lot of notes so I would make sure to hit all the points that I wanted to hit. But years ago, when I first started doing this, I was accused of copying a door hanger. I got a message from someone. They sent me a picture of their door hanger and they said, I've noticed that you created something identical to mine and I want you to please remove it from, your social media and all of that. And you know what? In that situation, I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I felt guilty and I felt defensive. And it's difficult because you read that stuff and you suddenly feel like, oh, it hurts. You didn't want somebody to come at you because you were proud of what you made. Even if you had to copy somebody else's picture to make it, you were proud of what you made, and then you're kind of sad because you feel like you're being attacked. Even if they said it in the most polite professional manner, it still feels like an attack. And even if you did not mean to create something just like somebody else's, and I'm sorry, I'm missing a lot of comments. I promise I'll go back and read them later. But I need to stay focused so that I say everything I want to say. What was I saying? Okay, so I was saying that, okay, a lot of times when people copy someone else's work, it's a form of flattery, right? But not everybody sees it that way. So they'll see it as, they see it as, you're trying to steal my customers, or you're trying to steal work that puts food in my family's mouths, or something like that. But a lot of times we as creatives, like, especially if we're just starting out and we've never done this before, because everybody who's painted door hangers had to start somewhere. We start looking for ideas, right? And we start looking for inspiration. And a lot of us are self-taught. I was self-taught. I taught myself by looking at pictures that others had done. And when you're in that place of being self-taught and starting out, it's not only hard to figure out how to just paint a polka dot or how to just do that highlighting thing that she did. It's hard, really hard, to figure out how to make it your own and come up with your own spin on it when you don't even know as an artist what your creative style is yet. Maybe you haven't even figured out what it is that is your hidden talent in painting that sets you apart from everybody else. So in the beginning, all you're doing is feeling like you want to copy everybody so that you can just get better at painting until you do figure out that part of it. Hey, Robin and Scarlett. So in the beginning, you know, you struggle with that kind of stuff, and that's the way I struggled in the very beginning. So when I got that message in the very beginning, this is not something that happened recently, but when I got that message years ago and that I had copied somebody's, and yes, mine did look very, very close to the original picture. I mean, I remembered looking at one of her photos and copying bit by bit because I just admired her work, and I thought it was gorgeous, and I thought, I want to learn how to do what she does, and so I wanted to copy it. I'm going to tell you in just a few minutes how to deal with that when somebody sends you a message. But it's also happened to me recently. Recently, I painted a custom door hanger. I was proud of it. I had made it on my own, and I was keeping in mind, I'd tried to make it my own, like with my own style, and I was trying to keep it also in line with what the customer wanted. And so, especially when it's something that's maybe pigeonholed to a certain kind of holiday or certain holiday colors and stuff like that, it's difficult to really change a lot when a customer asks for something in a certain holiday color and all of that. So, I'm going to talk about in a few minutes 3 things that you can do to make your door hanger different from other people's door hangers, or change something. You know, it may not even be door hangers, it could be wreaths, whatever, but I'm going to kind of, you know, structure this toward door hangers because I teach door hangers. So, what to do if you've been accused of copying somebody else. So say you get a message in your private inbox, because that's usually how it comes through, and somebody says, you know, you copied my door hanger, here's a picture. I want you to stop. Don't reply right away. Take a look at their picture and think about how it makes you feel. Ask yourself, like if I had asked myself the first time, years ago when I had done this, how did it make me feel? I felt ashamed. I felt guilty. I felt embarrassed. Those are all signs that, yes, you probably did copy it a little too closely. Now, if your feelings are, yes, it does look a little bit like that person's door hanger, but I'm proud of it because I made it my own, and I don't feel guilty or ashamed or embarrassed because when I look at it, when I look at my door hanger, it's my door hanger. It's my creation, right? Because you've changed enough things about it that it feels like yours instead of feeling like you copied somebody's. So that's one thing you can do. So before you respond to the person who says you copied them, look at it and ask yourself that. Ask yourself, is it true? Did I really copy theirs, or did I simply use theirs as inspiration to generate my own design? Also, think about, did you change enough stuff? If you feel strongly that you made it your own and you're proud of it, it's a difficult thing to do because the person messaging you feels strongly the opposite way. They feel strongly that you copied them. even if you feel strongly that you didn't. You know, you're still going to butt heads. So just try to be as professional as you can. Try to be polite. Try to apologize that maybe they feel that way. Try to just, I don't know, just try to be as gracious as you can be. And try to maintain your character. It's difficult, especially when you feel attacked. And so, a lot of times it might help if you allow yourself to cool down for a little while before you respond. But it's always difficult to do that because me as a person, I want to deal with something immediately as soon as I feel attacked about something. And so when this happened to me very recently, I looked at my door hanger and I'm like, no, I'm proud of what I did. And I came up with it and I designed, I designed it. I knew what the customer wanted. She told me exactly what she wanted. And I knew there were other ones out there similar to it, but I wanted to make it my own. So I changed as much as I could about it while still in keeping with the customer's wishes. So, okay, if you are attacked and they just continue to, bully you or make you feel like you need to take your post down and all of that, like I said, ask yourself, am I still proud of this? Regardless of whether she thinks I copied or not. Am I still feeling like it's mine? Not feeling like it's a copy of that person's. If you feel like you have changed enough stuff on it and it is yours and you have made it your own, stand your ground. Don't let somebody else bully you into thinking that you just have to take your post down because they told you did. A lot of times they'll tell you, okay, my lawyer's going to call you. And you might get a call from a lawyer. I don't know. But if you do, then I would ask that lawyer specifically a lot of questions. I would be asking them, okay, why exactly am I being taken to court? I would ask them to explain in detail the copyright laws and stuff because they are hard to understand. But a lot of times, and I'm not saying this because I told you guys I didn't want to get into copyright, but I'm not saying this so that it'll give you permission to go out and copy somebody, because I'm not giving you permission to do that. I'm saying, no, nobody's trying to sue me, Janelle. I'm saying that a lot of times this kind of stuff is not going to hold up in court. And the reason is because a lot of times the people who are messaging you saying that you copied them did not pay for an actual copyright on their artwork or on their stuff. And so they didn't pay for the protection that a copyright kind of thing provides. So let's just stop talking about copyright because I don't understand enough of it to really give advice on it, but that is the way I understand it, and that's my own beliefs on it. And I know that not everybody watching right now agrees with that, and I know not everybody out there agrees with that. But I do want to say that when it comes to seeing something of somebody else's, that you want to create something like it. Like you want to imitate what they have created because you think it's just so cute that you're like, oh, I must create one myself. I just love it. There are some guidelines you can go by. So let's take door hangers, for example. Try to change at least 3 elements of the door hanger. First, you could work on possibly changing the colors. If you can't change the colors, then possibly work on changing pattern or putting the pattern in a different place. But the main thing that can really help you is changing the shape of something. So just think about, let's say, maybe like a penguin. Maybe you saw a penguin door hanger and that penguin had the cutest little scarf and it was standing kind of like this, with its hands at its side like a penguin usually does. And, it was wearing a little hat and scarf and they were pink and teal and you just wanted to copy that. Tara, I can't speak to that. I think that would be ridiculous for everybody to have to copyright every single design, but I don't know. You'd have to ask a lawyer. But if you wanted to create, say, a penguin door hanger just like that and you loved that design, okay, think about if it's somebody that you feel comfortable asking, ask them. Say, would you mind if I created one like that? Because that is so cute, and brag on it and tell them that, you're a beginner door hanger painter and you're just trying to get started and you would like to know if they would mind if you, created something very similar to theirs. And so just ask, because some people are going to be like, yeah, no problem, myself included. I don't care if you guys go on my page and copy every single door hanger I've ever made. Y'all go for it. That's why I teach you guys. I know everybody has to start somewhere. And so, and I will say that probably at least 90% of the women in my Painters Clubhouse feel that way too. So if you're in my Painters Clubhouse group and you see somebody post something, I bet almost anything, if you ask them, do you care if I create one too, just like it, they're going to say, yeah, go for it, because we're also encouraging with each other. And so, which reminds me, I was going to put a link in here for the Painters Clubhouse, because it does, I'm not done talking about this, I just totally got sidetracked. It reopens on August 30th and 31st of this month. And so if you are interested in joining and you want to go read more about it and maybe get on my email list, you can type in the word Clubhouse in the comments below, and it will send you a link to go read more about it. Also, if you want to see me every time I go live, type in live alert down at the bottom, and it will, oh, hang on, I got to turn that one on too. It will send you a link to be notified when I go live. I've tried to start doing that on every live that I do, just because everybody's been asking and I forget to turn it on sometimes. Okay, so now it's on. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So message the person, ask them if they care. A lot of times they may not care, especially if they know you're starting out and you're trying to learn to paint. But just try changing some things about it. So for the penguin, let's say that person said, no, I don't want you to copy me. What can you do? Do they own the rights to a penguin with a scarf and a hat? Absolutely not. No. So let's think of ways we can change it up. Maybe the scarf in the picture is just hanging across the penguin's chest. You could make the scarf kind of blow up into the wind, or you could give it a different shape of a scarf. I don't know, scarves can be tied in like 100 different ways. Or maybe you could even give the penguin the cutest little snow boots you've ever seen. Or maybe give it like a bucket with a little snowflake on the bucket with little snowballs in the bucket. Like it looks like it's fixing to have a snowball fight. You know, add little elements to that penguin door hanger that will change it enough that you feel like you've suddenly made it something different and your own. And so you could also, let's see, you could give it a different kind of hat, or you could give it a jacket with little buttons down the middle. So think about ways that you could change it up that would make it different, but still be inspired by the original person's design. Okay, so those are some ways that you can change things up. Also, another thing, if you're like, say, okay, you want to create, let's just use, let me think of an example. Let's say a scarecrow door hanger. If you want to paint a scarecrow door hanger, because I know those are so popular right now, go over to Pinterest, type in scarecrow door hanger. Find at least 3, if not 5, it would be great if you had 5 designs to work off of. Don't just pick one that's your favorite. Pick like 5 and choose one thing about each one that you like. And then kind of write down, okay, well, I like the scarf on this one. I like the hat on that one. I like the face on this one. And I like the fact that that one had a sunflower on the hat. And combine all of those different elements that you like about all those different scarecrows into one scarecrow, which now becomes your own scarecrow because it's inspired by all of these, right? So that's one way you can apply, you know, making a door hanger in a different way, you know, by using others as inspiration, but really pull from all these different ones to make yours. Let's see. Okay, so I'm kind of finished with what I wanted to say mainly, but I do want to come back and say, if somebody messages you, don't make that be the thing that drops you from creating. Don't make that be the thing that's your roadblock that stops you. I love that, Renee. Renee said Frankensteining. So you're piecing together the scarecrow using all these different elements from other things. I'm going to start using that, Renee. That is a good word. Hashtag Frankensteining. Okay, but anyways, don't let that be the thing that stops you from painting and stops you from creating. Like, just figure out a way to pivot and do better next time. Use it as a growth and learning experience and do better next time. Apologize and move on. I also wanted to touch on this topic. Permission to just let it go. Give yourself permission. If you're one of these people who are worrying about other people copying you, and maybe it's bothering you a little bit that somebody copied something of your own, give yourself permission to let it go. Because I'm going to be honest with you. A little over a year ago, I had seen where others had copied some of the designs that I'd made, and it didn't bother me so much if it was one that like I had kind of copied from somebody else, like I was inspired by somebody else's design to come up with one, and then somebody copied that one. It's like a copy of a copy of a copy. You know what I mean? But if it was something where I had like, ooh, suddenly I had innovated and I had plucked this design from my head and put it on wood and painted it, and I was so proud of it because I hadn't been inspired by anybody else's door hanger. I had come up with 100% my own creation, right? It's like my baby. If you do that and you see somebody copy it, you're kind of torn because at first you're kind of like looking. You're like, okay, now I came up with this new design, right? And I'm kind of hoping that like it takes off and everybody loves it. And so you're kind of torn because on the one hand, you would kind of love it if everybody copied you because that means that it's going to be the next hot thing. And you're like, it kind of establishes you as like, okay, I've made it now. Like people are looking at my designs and copying them. So that means I've made it, right? I'm a big deal now, right? It kind of gives you a little bit of an ego boost when somebody copies you. But then on the other hand, you feel like, what if somebody orders that from her and not me? And how dare she? You know, so you start to feel those conflicting emotions of either you're kind of proud of it or you're kind of mad about it. And then you kind of get to picking and choosing, well, which ones am I going to be okay with people copying and which ones am I not going to be okay with people copying? So I've got a solution for you. Let it go. Just let it go. Stop worrying about whether people are copying you or not. And if you can't stop worrying about it, if you're constantly find yourself searching other people's pages to see if they've copied you, start unfollowing all of those people that you are looking at. Because if you're not looking at all of it, you got blinders on and you're not worried about it. When I remember the exact day that I made the decision to not worry about it anymore. And ever since that day, I have been more joyful. I've had more peace in my life, and I've had more freedom in my creativity and my communication with all of my door hanger people. Because now, if I see one of you guys copy something that I've done, I'm like, look at her go! I know I got so excited just then. But like, that's the emotion that comes over me when I see somebody copy something of mine now. I'm like, look at her. She just totally killed it. That is awesome. And so then I get on there and I'm like, okay, I need to like take what's in my brain, that feeling that I just had, and put it into a comment. So that person knows that they are doing an awesome job and that they are growing as a painter. And it makes them feel really good. And it makes me feel really good. Because it always makes you feel good when you put a smile on somebody else's face. Doesn't it? You guys agree with that? It makes you feel good when you put a smile on somebody else's face. And so I want you guys, if you're struggling with that push and pull of feeling a responsibility to make sure people aren't copying you, or feeling a burden that it's like, well, if somebody does copy me, what should I do about it? Like, you kind of feel like because some of the people in this industry are not okay with it and so against it that maybe you should be too, but you're kind of 1 foot in and 1 foot out and you're not sure. You need to make your own mind up, because there are people like me out there that don't care, that will be like, yes, sharing is caring. You know, take it, make it, share it, do it all. Like, go and create your own thing. But there are people who are right the opposite. And while that is their belief, I'm still going to be respectful of that. I'm not saying go out and copy those people. I'm saying be respectful. Ask first and make sure that, you know, they're okay with it. If they're not, then respectfully just go and completely try to make it your own as best you can. And if you can't, then maybe move on and do something else. I feel so much better. You guys, I've been thinking about this all day. And almost in tears, worried about saying this wrong or conveying this in a wrong way. Here I'm getting emotional. I made it through my whole pep talk without getting emotional. But I'm so proud of the women in my Painters Clubhouse and the strides that they have made in their businesses and in their painting skills. And I want them to feel encouraged. I want them to feel like they can do this. And it hurts my heart when they come to me and tell me that somebody has attacked them and made them feel like they're doing it all wrong. And so if you're one of those people who are not okay, look at my nose getting all red. If you're one of those people who are not okay with people copying you, please give them grace. Deal with it in the most graceful manner that you can. Amy, don't cry with me. Deal with it in the most graceful way you can. Choose your words wisely and be kind. Because you never know what somebody's dealing with. And you may not realize that they are struggling, and the courage it took for them to post that picture on social media. Oh my goodness, you guys are making me ugly cry. I'm going to have to quit reading your comments. Just a second. Let me quit crying. Goodness. I think this is the first time I've cried on Facebook Live. Okay. A lot of times it takes courage for people to post a picture of their work on social media. And so when they get attacked, or when they feel like they suddenly have done something wrong, it can cause them to quit. It can cause them to give up. And there are so many people in my Painters Clubhouse and people who follow me on my page who say that painting door hangers is changing their life. It's providing money for their families. It's providing a sense of self-accomplishment and self-confidence that they never knew they had. I think my nose is getting bigger the more I cry. And so, Linda, don't cry. I told myself I wasn't going to cry doing this. I think I've said all I really need to say, but I just don't want everybody to suddenly quit doing this because somebody sends them a nasty message telling them to take it down. So don't give up just because you get a message like that. Learn from it and move on. Try to be gracious. Try to be professional. Try to continue to be kind-hearted and be brave. Continue to post your pictures and just try to give grace to others if you don't agree with people copying your work. Try to be as professional as you can, be as sweet as you can, and be kind. That's all I can say. And if you want to join the Painters Clubhouse and be in our group of really sweet, awesome women where there is zero negativity, I mean zero, and you can read the comments of the people that have posted in this video, type in the word Clubhouse and you can go and read all about it. It reopens August 30th and 31st. It's my happy place. It's where all my sweetest friends who paint alongside me every month hang out. And they're just wonderful people. They build me up every day. All right, I gotta get off here because I can't draw it up. I'm glad I'm smiling and crying at the same time, but I'm an ugly crier, so. All right, I'm gonna stop. Thank you guys. You're awesome. I promise I'm gonna go back and read every single comment because you guys are amazing. Love you all. Bye-bye.